So games media is still upset with Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not really surprised. They're still cranking out articles on this game trying to turn people off to it, which I find absolutely hilarious. If you remember at the time when Last of Us Part 2 came out, that window for that game was about 3 weeks, I think, and then this game dropped, and it's all anybody was talking about. Because, well, people wanted to set the depression quest aside so they could actually go have fun in Ghost of Tsushima. And you had all kinds of ridiculous hot takes from game journalists when it came to this game. And now we have another one, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So this is from Metro, and they're very salty. Forget Days Gone. Ghost of Tsushima is Sony's worst game. Okay, Days Gone is not a bad game, actually. Ghost of Tsushima is one of their best games. The sales prove that. More downloads than Last of Us Part 2, by the way. Sales prove that game was also a massive success. You couldn't find it anywhere in stores. This game dropped during the height of the coof when everybody was locked away. Physical copies of this game, you couldn't find them anywhere. You could find plenty Last of Us Part 2s, though, which is one of the reasons why journalists attacked this game. And they went after this game pretty hard. I covered it quite extensively during the time. There's just a couple of things in this article that I think are worthy of commenting on and making fun of, because this is a really hot take by them. Hot take, of course. But nobody is shocked, I'm sure, that they're still salty about this game. This game really just kind of stopped Last of Us 2's, I guess, quote-unquote, hype in its tracks. Because when this game came out, it's all anybody was talking about. Because this game is fun. You know what people wanted when they were locked away for the past year? They wanted fun. And Ghost of Tsushima delivered that very nicely. And word of mouth pushed this game. This game sold pretty consistently on the charts for months. Last of Us Part 2 vanished from the charts very, very quickly. I think after like 2 months, that game was gone. Mario Kart started out selling it. But yet, it's the greatest game ever made, if you ask games journalists. They made awards up to give it an award, so it would be the highest rated game of all time. F that game, and F the games media. So let's take a look at this. So there's a lot of critiquing in here. I'm not going to go through this whole article. I just love some of these critiques on how they critique the maps and the way they created the game. I'm sure that this games journalist could have done a much better job at creating something. I'm sure that they would have really knocked it out of the park. Because, well, first off, the game would have been about, tracking people down there to using pronouns wrong or something, because how dare you? So it seems obvious that what developer Sucker Puncher was really interested in doing was creating a video game version of their favorite samurai movies, which explains why the game looks so authentic and why their combat is also really good. Much better than any Assassin's Creed game, and just a few moves short of being comparable to other straight action games. This is another thing in here that they're pissed about. So I want you to understand something. They say here that they were trying to mimic their favorite samurai movies. Yes, this movie was paying respect to a genre of samurai movies. But then they start complaining about historical accuracy, about the Mongol invasions and Bushido and traditional ninjas and all this shit. Oh, now you care about historical accuracy. But a World War II comes out. God forgive them for using, historical World War II symbolism. Can't have that. Then they would knock the game for for being historically accurate, but not this time. This time it's different. And then of course there's this take, which is always to me the funniest one. Everything in Ghost of Tsushima is so formulaic and repetitive that I haven't even addressed the issue of why Sony, a Japanese company, is letting one of its American developers make a game all about Japan. I can't help but imagine that a Japanese version of the same basic idea wouldn't be nearly as unimaginative, and I'm certain it wouldn't be a clone of Assassin's Creed. that's where we're at right there with that. So that was the big hot take. Oh, the Japanese people, they don't like it. They should have been the ones to make it, even though they loved it so much that they were giving it nothing but praise for months. And then you have this. This is probably the greatest piece of news. Ghost of Tsushima devs to be made permanent ambassadors of the real island. Creative leads to be honored for spreading the name and history of Tsushima.
What a story, Mark.
It's really funny. This is exactly what I always talk about when it comes to this cultural appropriation nonsense. If anything, like, who even really knew about these islands before this game came out? I'm sure a lot of history buffs did. I'm going to be honest, knew they existed, but I didn't really know anything about the islands. I didn't know the war history or any of this stuff. And I actually looked into the island a little bit after I played this game, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So there's something to be said about that. And these journalists getting so salty over this game, I find absolutely hilarious. So there you go. They're still butthurt about this game and what it did to The Last of Us Part 2. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.